Mr. Webb. How are you today?
I'm doing very well, thank you. Appreciate you asking us in to talk about Pierre.
Absolutely. Thank you for meeting with me today. I love having Pierre in my class, and I actually really appreciate him and how hard he works at things that he cares about. And I care a lot about him as well and his future, and that's actually why I wanted to talk to you today.
Okay. Well, obviously, my wife and I are concerned about Pierre's future as well. You know, he's a very talented football player, and he's dedicating a lot of time to that. By the way, have you been to a game this year?
I actually have not been to a game yet. That is one thing I did want to talk about. Lately, Pierre has been falling asleep in class fairly often, actually. And just seems, I guess the best word might be disinterested. Have you noticed this behavior at home at all?
No, I mean he has, definitely has interest in the things that are important to him, and right now, his number one priority is football because, he feels like, and his mother and I also feel like that's his future to getting a college education, and so, he spends a lot of time practicing and watching game film and things like that. Very dedicated to it, and sometimes he is up pretty late at night.
Absolutely, and I really do appreciate the passion that he has for football, and I understand that that will be an important avenue in him going to college and scholarships and things of that nature, but I also recognize that the academic piece has to be there, and he has to still meet those state benchmarks and benchmarks in my class, and currently he is missing a lot of work and isn't meeting those benchmarks in my class.
He seems to be getting a lot of homework, and football on top of a lot of homework, and is wearing him out. So are you saying that you don't feel like he's going to make the grade enough to pass the class, or at this point?
At this point, he will pass my class. However, I do know when they're looking at scholarships and things of that nature, they do look at specific grades, and right now, that's going to be a passing grade, but not necessarily, one that's going to encourage that scholarship.
Right. Do you have any other football players that are in any of your classes?
I do have a few. Yes, I have a few.
Okay. So are they having similar issues to Pierre due to the time constraints that they have?
I would say that a couple of them are, but as a whole, no. I wouldn't say that the group of them are struggling.
Okay. Well, I mean, it's, if we're having common problems with football players, and not, maybe it's because you have Pierre for first period, which is early in the morning, and I'm sure it takes him a little while to wake up, because sometimes when he's comes to practice, gets home at around 6 o'clock, he's watching game film till 8. Sometimes he's doing homework till midnight, and then he's in your class at like 7:30. You know how teenage boys are. They require a lot of sleep.
Absolutely.
And so I don't know. How long have you been teaching, by the way?
This is actually my second year teaching.
Okay. Have you had very much experience at dealing with football players and athletes in general and the demands of their time?
Not necessarily. Like I said, it's only my second year, so I've had to address it maybe another additional time in another sport. But this will be one of the very first times for sure.
Okay. Have you ever thought about maybe not giving out so much homework? Where they don't have to stay up so late at night doing homework.
I haven't thought about adjusting my homework schedule per se. Like I said, I think that I appreciate Pierre's passion for football, but my job as his teacher is to focus on his academic progress and achievements, and so that is my main concern. And I do appreciate and understand his extracurriculars, but there does have to be a balance.
Right, I think so too. I mean, I agree that there has to be a balance. But I don't know if you have very much interaction with the football coach. From a balance standpoint, it takes a lot of time, practice every day, games, on Friday, and even weekend workouts and then off-season workouts. It takes a lot of time, not necessarily away from the academics, but in addition, I have an older son that played football as well, and his teachers generally would work with him a little bit more.
Okay. Do you think your son might have anything to offer Pierre as far as time management and things of that nature, since he did seem to effectively be able to do that?
But he was a little better student, a little sharper, Pierre. Of course, Pierre is a better football player, though. Mm-hmm. And so, different kids have different strengths.
Absolutely.
And I think their academic abilities are different.
Sure. So in this instance, it seems to me maybe it's more of a balance issue. Maybe he is, a little priorities might be slightly out of kilter, and that might need to be adjusted or just re-looked at, and try to make those adjustments so he can be successful in both areas.
Okay. Well, I appreciate your feedback, and we'll look into that. Do you have any type of resources that you think might help us?
Absolutely. I did print off this article, and it is about sleep, teenage sleep, and how important that is in not only academics, but I think you'll find after reading that is going to actually benefit his football game as well. So I did print that out and wanted to give that to you today.
All right. Appreciate it. We'll take a look at that and see what might be applicable.
Absolutely. And do you care if maybe in a couple weeks I check back in with you and we just, make sure we're moving in the right direction?
Sure, be happy to.
Absolutely. Thank you for meeting with me,
Right.
Mr. Webb.
Thank you.